I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. It was a little rough clicking the record button on this video today, but it's a must do video as we have a lot to talk about with the Washington Commanders. More specifically, a huge, massive problem that we have that, quite frankly, isn't going to get fixed. So let's talk about it and try to move on from this Chicago Bears loss.
Shout out to Juan Gotti Talking Sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Juan Gotti Talking Sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career, and he's already milking injuries? Like,
Niggas stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty love again now, she's confident.
Before we get any further into today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to a game, concert, or any live event, SeatGeek is the place to go. I actually got my tickets for week 1 against the New York Giants using SeatGeek, and honestly, I use it for all my event purchases. What I love about SeatGeek is how simple it is to find the best deals. They rate every seat on a scale from green to red. Green means you're getting a great deal, red means it's a little overpriced. That way you know you're buying with confidence and getting your money's worth. Plus, they even offer protection ticket plans so you don't have to worry about your tickets getting lost or stolen. And the best part about it all is they're hooking y'all up with the code. Use Juan Gotti at checkout and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Again, use code Juan Gotti at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. So, first things first, I wanted to come on here and talk about the game from last night. I was there. I was live at the game, and it definitely was a horrible outcome. It was raining, it was misty, it was wet, and we all were out there thugging, bruh. And for us to lose the game in the fashion that we did it's not pretty, man. To see how our players played down the stretch of the game, you can clearly tell that this team has a lot of issues, right? On one hand, you can sit here and say Washington should not have won this game yesterday due to the turnovers. When you turn the ball over 3 times, you don't deserve to win. I totally understand that, and I totally agree with that on most days. Even yesterday, I can agree with that. But then on the other hand, you can sit here and say there's no reason Washington should have lost this game. They had the ball last with the opportunity to run the clock out, had the lead late, and we just melted, man. Like, one bad play cost the game. And you can sit here and point the blame, point the finger at whoever you want. Some people say Jaden Daniels, some people say Cliff Kingsbury. At the end of the day, it's enough blame to go around. Quan Martin, why don't you push DeAndre Swift out of bounds? You have the sideline as your friend. That touchdown was easily preventable. Marshawn Lattimore, why would you give up on that play? You know what I mean? Defensively, we were getting gashed by DeAndre Swift the whole night on outside runs. That's our weakness, and we'll get to that a little bit later, as the title of this video is going to expose a big problem that we have that I don't think is going to be able to be fixed tonight, or excuse me, this year, and that is the pass rush. Edge rushers. We're screwed, y'all. We are. We already knew that coming into this season, that this team did not have a really good pass rush room. That's why we went out and got a Von Miller that late in the off season. But he hasn't done shit. You know, he's a 37-year-old guy, so I didn't expect much from him to begin with. But the rest of the room hasn't done anything. Jacob Martin hasn't done nothing. Javonte Jean-Baptiste gets hurt. Right? The only guy that we had that was given significant pressures was Dorrance Armstrong. And guess what? Now he's going to be hurt for the next couple of weeks. And you want to know one thing that this Washington Commanders team exposed to me yesterday that I kind of already figured, but it confirmed it. We're still trash on stopping outside runs. Remember going back to last year in that NFC Championship game, Saquon Barkley tore us a new one, and that was essentially what their game plan is. And we went out and we beefed up the interior, getting Javon Kinlaw. We beefed up the interior, trying to stop inside runs. Now all teams got to do is run on the outside against us. We can't contain the quarterback in the pocket when we get there. How many times did you get Caleb Williams in 3rd and shorts, and he was able to just scramble out left, scramble out right, and pick up the first down? We're so weak in that area. And that has a lot to do with the personnel out there. We don't have nobody. So we're screwed. We are. And the reason I say we're screwed for the season, because who was going to save us at this point? There's nobody out there. You went with Von Miller. Didn't give you anything. Jadarius Smith just retired. Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think is doing much. Right, we need somebody. We might have to go back to put Deron Payne at edge, because we need a physical edge. But at the same time, if you do that, that's not no guarantee pressure either, because we're not getting pressure from the pass rush neither on the outside. So it's kind of just like we're cooked. We're cooked. I felt like defensively, we took a step back after having a really good game versus the Chargers. I felt like we were overcomplicating things again. When you know Caleb Williams is a guy that gets happy feet, he doesn't like pressure, he's easily movable off of his spot, he's easily agitated. I felt like this was a night in which you were supposed to light him up. Again, I die on that hill, especially when you don't have the personnel that you feel like you have that you can just rush for and get after him. We only sacked him, I think maybe 3 times, but I could vividly only see, I'm saying 3 off the top of my head, but I could vividly only remember seeing Dorrance Armstrong getting a sack. I know it was 2 more in there potentially, but in my mind is blanking. My point is, we made things so simple last week by just blitzing Justin Herbert, sending 5, playing man coverage across the board. You're telling me you couldn't have did that again? Make Caleb Williams beat you. This isn't Patrick Mahomes we're talking about, who we're going to see in a couple weeks. We're talking about Caleb Williams. If he beats you with his arm, so what? But you're letting it be easy by allowing him to screen you to death left, screen you to death right. Quick dink and dunks to DeAndre Swift. We made it too simple for him, or too easy for him, by us feeling like we needed to sit back in that soft zone again. We went right back to that soft zone again. And at this point, with Joe Witt Jr., I think I've came to the conclusion that he talks a good game. Oh yeah. Joe Witt Jr. can talk your head off all day, every day. But when it comes to that game plan, game time, he gets his ass out-coached every week. Ben Johnson was running circles around that man. Clearly in over his head. And even still, I felt like defensively, they played well enough to win. So I know you may be like, well, Juan, how are you bashing them if you just felt like, if you said the defense played well enough to win? Well, at the same, both things could be true. The defense did play well for majority of the game, only holding them to 16 points, allowing them to get in the red zone 4 to 5 times and only giving up 16 points. That's amazing. But at the same time, when we're going to get to the offensive side of the ball, it's about your situational play calling. Who cares how good you were in the first half if you gave up a massive play late that cost us the game, quite frankly. Again, I'm going to have nightmares about that DeAndre Swift play. He tears us a new one every single time he plays us. Remember that time, man? I know I'm going off track. Remember that time he was in Detroit when he literally fell down and got back up and scored and nobody on Washington touched him? He always kills us. Mind you, this was a running team that sucked before last night. We were a running team that was great before last night. And we found a way to squander this game. You know why this one hurts? It's because you're the better team. I still feel like that to this day. We're the better team. Chicago ain't shit. We're better than them. We beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. 3 turnovers, you can't have that, even late. Again, Chicago fans, not trying to take a win from you all. Congratulations. But again, you had the ball last with the lead, with the opportunity to just ice it. All you had to do was pick up 1 yard. And this game is over. But instead, I kept saying it in the stands. You keep giving them opportunities. You keep giving them opportunities. At some point, they're a professional team. At some point, they're going to get it together. They're going to put together a drive. And what did they do? What did they do? Now, offensively, I'm pissed because you ruined such a great night for our young guys. Luke McCaffrey, outstanding. Lukey Pookie was amazing. And I was so ready to get on a post-game show and give my guy his flowers, man. That young fella is coming out. Confidence is through the roof. And if he ain't getting it done as a receiver on a kick return, you can't get up because you already know he's a threat to take it back. Jalen Lane, that double move, oh my, chef's kiss. Chris Moore, even though he had a massive drop, just when I was giving him his props, he turns out to be Chris Moore of old and have a massive drop on 3rd down. J-Mac had a massive drop that could have potentially extended the drive, even though he came up clutch late, had a massive drop late. It was so frustrating watching this game because Chicago was sitting in a single high the whole entire game. I don't know if you've watched the all 22 footage, but I don't need to watch it necessarily because I literally saw it. They had Jaquan Brisker sitting in a single high the whole entire game. And we rarely stretched the field. But you know what? When we did stretch the field, guess what happened? Jalen Lane double move deep ball. Luke McCaffrey touchdown. That Chris Moore touchdown to start the game, that wasn't a pitch and catch. That had some airtime on it. So I understand we're going to get to Jaden, and rightfully so. He was not his best yesterday, but even in that game still, he threw 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception. And that 1 interception, last night I was crucifying him for it. But after hearing him talking, after rewatching the play a million times, that's just on him. I said it was a bad decision because it wasn't open. Oh, it was. He just missed the window. Debo was wide open in the scenes for a touchdown. And he was just late getting over it. And Jaquan Brisker made him pay. Bill fumbling. 2nd game in a row, young fella. Again, I'm not losing no confidence in him. I'm not at all. But that's a costly turnover. Jaden, 3rd and 1. You know, last night I was, this is Cliff Kingsbury's fault. He cost us the game because he's out of, which again, I know y'all are going to disagree with me on this one because you got to hold 5 accountable, which I'm not doing. I think you got to hold Jaden accountable because again, regardless of the play call, you got to execute. But you got to know it's raining, it's wet. As a play caller, you got to know, man, it's 3rd and 1. All we need is 1 yard to end the game. I get our formation, primary base, we're a shotgun, pistol formation kind of team. Out of the gun. I get that. But at some point, you got to say, I'm doing anything to win. Even if that was 3rd and 1, put Mariota in the game and let him sneak it if you don't want to run a sneak with 5 or a tush push with 5. Or what about Chris Rodriguez on 3rd and 1? Under center. You know else? What else I think would have caught them off guard I believe. Under center bootleg keep with Jaden Daniels. 5 was killing him with his legs last night, and it wasn't like it was design runs. Obviously, it was on plays in which the pocket broke down. And he couldn't find nobody, but they couldn't contain him. You get a block kick When do we ever get a block kick? We did last night. And unfortunately, we didn't take advantage of it, man. But all in all, this Commanders team is 3-3. It could be worse, for sure. But yesterday was a true eye-opener for me. I'm kind of going back to my old self of not expecting anything. You know, every week I expect to win. Every week I talk my trash. And I do feel confident about the Kansas City game. I know I'm looking past Dallas, but I do feel confident about those two games. But I'm no longer going to expect anything from this team until they prove it to me for a consistent basis. The one thing that everybody has been saying is the one thing Washington has been consistent at this year has been inconsistent. They're consistent at being inconsistent this year. One week you look like you're turning the corner. Another week you go back into the form that we saw in Atlanta, that we saw last night, and it's like, what the hell is going on with this team? When are we going to get it together? We got a gauntlet coming up. Dallas, Kansas City, is it Seattle? And then it's, I think, Detroit, Denver. Like, bro, Philly still play twice. Giants one more time. Dallas twice. Like, this schedule doesn't get much easier. Minnesota, still a good defense. So, it's a lot of ball left. The season's not done whatsoever, but we have a major issue defensively that I don't think we're going to be able to fix. Offensively, I didn't like what I saw from the offensive line yesterday. On the left side, Andrew Wiley did not look the best, but I think that'll be fine. Sam Carson's going to slowly work his way back in next week. So offensively, again, even with the turnovers, I still felt like we're fine. We want Terry back. We want Noah Brown back. But if you're telling me on a consistent basis, I'm getting more and more contributions from Luke McCaffrey, from Jalen Lane, Zach Ertz still doing his thing. Then you add in Terry and Noah Brown. Like, this offense is going to be fine. My worries is this defense. Where the hell is Jordan McGee after having a really solid game? Why don't we build on that? I get they love Bobby Wagner. I get that. I do too, but there's no way in hell you can telling me he's so good you can't take him off the field. DeAndre Swift cooked him on one play, and luckily I believe either Swift dropped it or it was an earned throw by Williams. But he got cooked. He cannot cover. Frankie's not your best coveraging linebacker, but he's cool. Jordan McGee deserves opportunities, man. Quan Martin pissing me off. If there was one player that pissed me off this whole entire year, and I'm going to make that a separate video, because Joe Witt Jr. talked our head off this offseason about Quan Martin, and he's been pitiful. But at the same time, he's a reason that we're 3-3 instead of 2-4. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so inconsistent. Like, I can talk shit about Quan, but at the same time, without Quan, we wouldn't be 3-3. We can be upset at 5, but without 5, we wouldn't have the success we have. Like, I hate it here. But that being said, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 12,000 subscribers. We greatly appreciate if we reach that goal as soon as possible. Hey, I'm going to need one of y'all to suit up, man, because we need some type of pass rushers, because we have none. And that's a big problem that we're not going to be able to fix for the remainder of the year. But I'll catch y'all later. Love y'all. Peace.
Never gave up one day. Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a line.